Hello and welcome to the 7A tutorial for the Golden Strawberry. This one's really hard compared to the other A sides, probably the hardest A side. It's really stressful. It can also be really fun. A lot of the rooms are really cool to do. For this one, I recommend that you try and practice 3,000 meters, the last checkpoint, until you can do it deathless a couple times. You definitely want that part to be really consistent for you. For the other checkpoints, I would try to get them consistent enough for you to do them 2 to 3 times in a row without dying. So, you know, you would do 1,000 meters 3 times in a row. So, this first checkpoint is not too bad. You're probably going to be tempted to do it fast, and definitely this is one of the few checkpoints that I do recommend trying to go through it semi-fast. It's not too hard, but just don't go to your maximum speed and you should be alright. You definitely don't want to be dying here too much. I won't be using too many special moves, but I might recommend that you try learning the hyper dash just because it makes like a couple of the rooms easier. Yeah, so to get started, these first few rooms are pretty simple. Just do this one like the casual way. You don't need to go fast here. Same thing for this one, pretty easy. Nothing much to say. For this room, I like to dash pretty early here, just so I'm like already positioned within the hole. So like, let me do that. Definitely practice this jump right here, just because it's probably the only section in the first checkpoint that can kill you sometimes. Here you have 2 options. You can go for the basic strat, or you can go for a extended hyper. If you're good at extended hypers, it's probably easier to do that. If you don't know how to extend hyper, there's a lot of guides on YouTube, so I would definitely check those up before doing this golden. Though it's not mandatory. For this one, I like to do this pattern. Though you can do this pretty much any way you want. There's no like important strat here. So this first section is pretty simple. Just make sure you get it most of the time. Though you will die sometimes in this first section. This golden is so hard to get that eventually you'll pretty much die in every room, even the easy ones. Alright. Here I like to diagonal dash here just to get to the upper part consistently. Here I grab it, let it go down, wait until it stops. Then I just do a diagonal dash over this conveyor, hit the spring, and then I do diagonal right. For this conveyor belt, you can do it the regular way. If you want to play it really safe, you can dash down as it rises up, like this, and then you just jump and dash up. Okay. You don't have to wall bounce here, but you can save a little bit of time. This one's pretty easy. Just make sure you head left confidently to get to the wall here. Then make sure you go right enough in your jump. I died here maybe a couple times just because I wasn't like I did, you know, something like that. So just make sure you're confident here. Like that. Here I guess you can go directly for the block here, or you can go for the spring. I prefer to go for the spring just because it makes it, I guess, a little bit easier, but both are fine. So like this. So sometimes they'll grab the coin just by grabbing into the wall. If you don't get it, just do a wall jump. I like to get back here so I can do a diagonal dash a little bit easy, in a bit more easy way. So just like that. Again, if you don't grab the gem, just do a wall jump. And yeah, that's still pretty easy. Here there's kind of two dashes you can do, right? You can do diagonal up, and that's not too bad, but I think it's probably easier to do up diagonal, so you don't have to like position your, like if you're like this, maybe you could miss the wall like by doing this. I don't know, not likely, but I just prefer to do up diagonal, just easier. This one I do have a strategy that is helpful. Now, like, the further we go along here, the more strategies I'll recommend, because they definitely get harder and harder. For this one, you can do it the normal way, or if you want to be a bit more consistent, grab this wall and try to position yourself around here, not here, but just like a little bit higher, like basically near the the third X from the top on this wall, and just dash right and up. Oh god. So again, right and up, and grab the wall. Okay, this one is also pretty simple. Wait until it hits the bottom, jump over, get the spring. For this one, to conserve stamina, you don't have to climb up this wall, just wait, then do a neutral jump to get off of it, and then do a diagonal dash, all while holding the grab button. Then just hop over, and it's done. This one's not too bad at all. Here I like to, like, you know, there's a risk that if you go right, you might do this. So what I like to do, just to make it consistent, is I don't move here, but then I do a diagonal dash. So like this. Okay, welcome to 1,000 meters. This section is a little bit harder than 500 meters, but not by too much. For this first room, we're going to do 3 diagonal dashes, like this. And once you're here, you're just going to wait a little bit until you get below the dream block to my right, and then you're just going to dash right and up, like that. Here you can do it kind of the fast way if you want. Oh god, I failed. Or let's do it normal way. Just grab this wall. It's probably easier than just timing your dash out of the block. Here, hit the spring, and once you do, don't move. And the spring will basically just take you directly to the spring below right here. And once you hit the coin, just dash up. Once you get the coin right next to me, go left and head back through the dream block. So like that. So here you can do a right dash. However, with the right dash, you might do it too early, but you might hit the spikes. So what I prefer to do is to do a diagonal dash. Why? So because you're heading diagonally up, your upward velocity is like kind of opposite to the hitbox of the spikes, and sort of like a spike jump. If you're heading up through the spikes, you can survive even if you touch them. So like that. Okay, for this room, just do a jump out of the block. Otherwise you'd have to do like this. So yeah, just kind of jump out of it. Get to this wall with a dash. If you have blue hair here, you're kind of screwed. So just dash up and do the rest just like you'd expect. Here, I prefer to do this room here. So just kind of do it like this. Then diagonal dash, and oh, okay, and up. One thing, it might happen that you run out of dashes as you're doing this. So you want to know how to fall through this section without hitting any spikes. So what I do is I just head to this block right here, and you're safe to just drop from there and just kind of reset. So let's just do this. Like that. Okay, this is the hardest room in this 1,000 meter section. I like to do this here. A couple of things to watch out for. Don't dash too late there, because then you'll pass through the block and you'll have to kind of do more dashes, which kind of puts you at risk. Here you can just jump out of the block like that, or you can do it the normal way. Here, it's pretty easy, but I do recommend you take it slow. I don't know if I'd do it like that, honestly. So like that, yeah. Yeah, and just kind of slowly go through it. Just because if you go too fast, you might hit your head on the roofs of these dream blocks. Okay, this room's pretty easy. Just make sure you don't do 2 diagonal dashes. Do a diagonal dash and a okay, that's fine, but diagonal dash and a straight dash. Then so here you can kind of do it with 1 diagonal dash, or 2 dashes like that. Okay. Alright, 1,500 meters. This is where things get a little bit more serious. Here there's just a lot to remember. But it's not the hardest one once you know how to do it. So for this first one, I'm going to jump left and dash up twice, right as the dust bunny above me heads left. So like now. And then just dash right twice and you'll make it through. This room's a little bit tricky. Just kind of bounce on these platforms until you got an opening. And the opening you're looking for is basically right there. When the dust bunny, going left and right next to me, is on the wall right there. So that's when you jump. And I like to dash up and right. And that will give you the right timing to dodge the dust bunny. Just when you happen to jump at the same time that the dust bunny is on the right. Like that. Okay, on this one, just kind of wait until it goes lower, and then do that. Dash right and up without jumping. Not right and up, right and diagonally. So, like that. Okay, this one, just kind of dash up. And when you find an opening, just dash right. Like that. For this one, I'm gonna jump, do a diagonal dash and a right dash when the dust bunny on the one on the right is at the roof. So now. On this room, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump and do those dashes. I'm going to do that right when, so I'm going to jump right when it starts moving. So, now. This room's kind of long, but it's not the worst because none of the sections are too bad. One thing here, don't climb too high. Just kind of, yeah. Here you can do it in two ways. You can do it like that. I prefer, see if I can make it back. No, I can't. I prefer to take the passage above though. It's a bit easier. Like that. Just dash up once and do this. Make sure not to retrace your steps on the floor on where I am, just because of the hairs. Here you can, I guess, wall jump. I prefer to just do 2 dashes directly up to the last one. Climb up at the right time. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk off the edge. There. So when the dust bunny's on the right, and it's right when its eyes change directions. So like now, and just head. You can don't move for most of the fall, and then at the very end, just head towards the wall, and you should be okay. Oh, I used a bit too much stamina there. Just by talking while I was hanging there. But it'll give me a chance to show the room again. This in one smooth run. Oh, that was close. And that's why this chapter is like really hard. Even if you have like a consistent strategy, just one little misstep and you're screwed. This room is pretty trivialized by the strategy I'm about to show. So what you're going to do is you're going to get to the previous room. You're going to hold right and grab, and all you'll have to do is just dash right at the right moment. So like this. And it'll always work. Even though you get close to the dust bunnies, they never really get you. Yeah. This one just dash twice right at the right moment. Kind of like as it's heading down. This room's not too hard either. You're gonna jump and dash right, like when it's like there. If you want to be safer, you can also do the 2 diagonal dashes like I did, a diagonal dash and a right dash. Or, yeah. Yeah, that's good. So, yeah. For the rest of this section, just kind of dash to the side of these pillars and jump at the top to recover your dash. Okay, this next room, there's a lot to talk about. What you're going to do, you're going to go of the left wall here, and you're going to climb up. What that's going to do, it's going to give you like this little jump, right, automatically. With this jump, you're going to use it to go straight from the trampoline. Once you do, you're not going to move on it. So you're not going to like head right like that. You're just going to kind of stay neutral. And once you're at the peak of your bounce, you're going to dash right. And that's going to basically consistently get you through the first dust bunny. For the rest of them, you're going to dash up right as they rise up, and then dash right. So like now. For this one, you're going to go as it rises up, and you're just going to wait a little bit more time than the previous ones, just to give yourself a better timing for the second one. So like that. For this next room, you're going to dash up right when it's on the right. Like that. And you're going to do a diagonal dash. You can also, if you want, do this thing where you enter the room, jump immediately, dash up, and that also works. But it's like, it's a little bit harder. But if you prefer to do like, you know, precise movements over timing stuff, it could be a better method for you. But that can happen. But if that happens, just try to get yourself back. But yeah, otherwise just kind of wait below it and then dash there. Okay, for this one, you're going to dash over here and you're going to go there. So we're gonna head for, let me again just explain. We're gonna go for this wall. So you're gonna look at the dust bunny right below me right there. So this dust bunny, you're gonna want to go when it's like just about to reach the top. So like there. So like now. And you're just gonna fast climb to the top of it. And the rest of it should be easy. Okay, the last room. This one's a bit tricky. So first thing, we're gonna jump left and dash up right as the dust bunny above me heads left. So like now. Okay, now we're going to go left a bit and we're gonna dash above the dust bunny to my left as it's heading down. We're gonna bounce on the floor I was on just for a very short moment, like basically like a bunny hop, and we're going to go to Battlein. At this point, the dust bunny should be heading down, and so you can just dash above it. Here we can take a break, and we're just gonna jump right after it rises up. There. Then we're gonna just wait until it's gonna go down faster than you, so just wait a bit, and when it's below you, dash left, and then diagonally to Battlein. So we just show that again, because it's a bit complicated. Okay. I don't know if it's just because I'm more nervous when I'm here, but I tend to perform a little worse in this checkpoint. Okay, so yeah, you're not going to do the section to the right. Instead, you're going to use these wall transitions to do this room. Now, this is supposed to be a berry room, and those tend to be harder, but this one's actually pretty easy. You're just gonna jump immediately when you land on these pink clouds, like this. Oh, okay. Yeah, make sure you don't jump too far like that. Yeah. Like that. On the last cloud, just make sure you land on the left side of it. Like that. And just practice this a couple times. It's not trivial, but it's easier than the room below me. So for this one, two diagonal dashes. You're gonna land on top here, then just fall to the right, and yeah, just do like that. I'm basically just doing this one as intended. Make sure you dash a little later here. You don't want to land on the like on the other side of this wall right here. If not, you're screwed. This one. Yeah, so this one I have a very specific strategy for it. I like to do 2 diagonal dashes each time the ice ball comes, like this. Don't worry about the following when you have time. Here, since you're going to be falling a lot, I only like to do one diagonal dash. If you do two diagonal dashes, you might be a little late for the next ice ball, and you'll probably die actually. So just do one diagonal dash. Yeah. And just do the rest like this. This room is a little bit scary. Just do it the intended way. Because of this right here, I don't know, I just find this diagonal dash to be a bit inconsistent. You'll probably make it in time, so don't worry about speed too much. Then another room that's a little bit scary. I like to do up diagonal, up right on each one. Then I go to the edge. For this one, I like to jump out of the way and then dash back into it. Just because the, I don't know, you don't have much room to stand on. Then get to the wall and just do like that. Okay, this room is just skill. I've definitely died here a couple of times in my Goldens. For the next jump, you're going to want to fall and just kind of maybe even hold left a couple of times just to keep you from going too far to the right. Then once you get to the same height of the bubble, just dash right. Then just keep holding diagonal the whole time after the bubble. Okay, here you can do all three moving platforms, or you can just skip to the third one. Really just depends what you prefer. Once you get to this one, just dash left at the end. Get to the spring. Do a neutral jump here. And then just dash right. Okay. This is probably the hardest battle in room, or like the second hardest. It's not too bad, but with nerves you can definitely get screwed. Okay. Here, just do a diagonal dash. Don't need to jump. Dash right, and then dash left, I mean, and then dash right into the spring. Here you want to do, ooh, okay, talking too much. Here you want to do a left dash after, and then a diagonal dash. You can sometimes make it with two left dashes, but that's a bit more consistent for me. So left diagonal. And just wait, and yeah. As you can see, I haven't done this chapter in a long time. Here we're going to use a shortcut. We're going to take the bubble, and we're going to skip the first two rooms, conveniently. Okay, make sure you just jump at the end of this platform, like as it's basically stopping. Not too early. If not, this can happen. Well, I mean, okay, it's not too dangerous because you have two dashes to save yourself, but yeah. This one's not too bad either. So generally, even though this is the fifth checkpoint, I find this one to be a bit easier than the other ones. Especially compared to 3 and 4. Then just do a diagonal dash here. You can do this in really any way you want. That's just how I prefer to do it. So for this section, I like to walk right as it's below me. So like this. And then just get to this section of the wall. Then you're just going to dash left here. And then you're going to climb all the way up until you have almost no stamina. Get off the wall and dash up. Okay. Here I like to dash below into the bubble. I mean, you can do it like this, but I prefer to just already dash down and the platform will still be down while you're standing there. Here, do left dashes. Make sure you don't dash here. If not, you get crushed by the platform right there to my left. Here, just do a diagonal dash to the roof. And then here, you're just going to kind of go point right with Madeline, and then you're just going to tap the dash button. And you'll make it every time. Just tap it as fast as you can. Here, there's nothing much I can do to help. Just practice it. Make sure you remember what's coming up after so you're not surprised. So memorize this room. This one, you're going to do a down dash here to have both dashes just in case. Then you're going to grab it. Then you're going to use the momentum to get to around this point right here. Around, like you see there's like kind of a spiky vine below me, like around where the vine bulges up. Then once you get to right where the vine is, you're going to dash up. Oh, that was a bit late actually. So maybe right above the vine. So like this. This one is a bit tricky. It doesn't look too bad, but I found this one to be one of the killers for the goal-in runs. This one's not too bad. You're gonna stand around this point right here. And one thing you're gonna make sure you don't do is, like, let's say I'm gonna do an up dash. I'm not going to head right after the dash like this. I'm just going to use nothing but dashes here to maneuver myself. So jump, up dash, right dash, wait a little bit, and then do right dash, up dash. You don't want to wait too long, because then you won't have enough height for the bubble, sort of like this. So definitely don't do that. You just want to fall just enough so that you're below this wall of spikes below me. To the right of me, I mean. So, and once you press the button, make sure to remember that you want to be holding right to get to the crystal below you. That's a very common way to die. Then just do diagonal dashes on the bottom. I don't know what I prefer here. Yeah, maybe a diagonal dash. 2 diagonal dashes there. Slide to the above the button of the spring and just let yourself slide down. Then once you're above where the platform is, just dash right 2 times. Should dash up there. Here, you're gonna dash down. Oh. You're gonna wait just a little bit and then jump on it and do a diagonal dash to the wall. Then dash to where the block's gonna be. Then just drop when you're above the spring. Oh, talking too much. Oh. Okay. So once you're here, one thing of note about these moving platforms is that because they're moving, the timing for you to grab them is just a bit off. Like as you can see, I don't know if I can show it well, but you want to make sure that you're indeed grabbing, because maybe you noticed that like for like a second I wasn't actually grabbing it even though I was on the wall. Let me just repeat that. Oh, okay, I can't do that. Alright, sorry. Okay. But yeah, make sure you hold on to the walls for long enough for you to grab them. Okay, well, welcome to the most stressful section. This is a section you want to practice a lot. I don't know if I got lucky, but because I practiced it enough, I only had to get to this section a couple times to actually get the golden. Personally, I had more trouble actually getting here. Not because the previous sections are tough in any way, it's just that there's so many rooms to do before you get here that eventually you just mess something up, you know? So just because it's so brutal to get here, I definitely practice this section. You have to know it by heart. So this room is, this checkpoint's pretty easy. Nothing really to say here. Just don't be too cocky. You can still die. Okay. So for this one, just do it the standard way. Here, just do 2 diagonal dashes on the wall to the right. Climb to here, then again 2 diagonal dashes. Here you just want to jump, then do 1 diagonal dash. This next section, there's all kinds of ways to do it. What I prefer to do is mostly just time diagonal dashes upwards, like this. And you should be alright for that one. That's probably one of the harder rooms in this like downwind section. This one, a lot of people have trouble with it. The way I do it, I think is pretty easy. So what you want to do is just grab this wall right here, get to the very top, then do 2 diagonal dashes after it. So just do that again. So get to the very top of this wall, jump, diagonal dash, diagonal dash. And because you're so high, even if you're like off a little bit, you can kind of maneuver yourself to the right spot. But generally you should be right in the correct position. Get to this little spot right here. Do 1 jump and do 1 diagonal dash. Then here you don't even need to jump. Just land on this block below me and then just do a diagonal dash. And that'll position you perfectly for the next block. I guess this wall right here. Jump and do a diagonal dash. Then you don't even need to land on the platform below me. Just do 2 diagonal dashes to this wall where I am right now. Just to repeat. Like this. 2 diagonal dashes there. Get to this spot. Here again, pretty straightforward. That previous jump right there is kind of scary. I guess you could do it with a diagonal and then an up dash, but I find that to be just a bit more, I don't know, just inconsistent. Janky, so, oh, I did it again. So just do a left dash and an up dash. Okay, and just climb to the top here. You can do 2 diagonal dashes. Usually you'll just end up in this little corner right here. It'll stop you and you'll fall in the right spot. For this dash, I like to do 2 diagonal dashes like that. Yeah. Here, jump, 2 diagonal dashes, get to this point. And then just dash up. Okay, now it gets harder. The upwind section is where it gets serious. A lot of the hardest rooms in the chapter are here, unfortunately. So this first one is not too bad, but definitely is a little bit more technical than some of the previous ones. So you're gonna jump left, do a diagonal dash, and wait a bit, do another diagonal dash at the right time. Try to get as high a jump from that cloud as you can. Do a diagonal dash, and then you're going to want to be very careful with her next crystal below me. You really want to time it correctly. Don't dash too high. Just be calm. Here, you don't want to jump from the very top because there's a risk that you'll hit your head on the crystal wall to my top right. So just go a little bit lower and you'll make it. Yeah, so this one's pretty straightforward. This one is a little bit scary because you can easily not get enough height, like this. So I like to stand on this corner, then just do a jump, do an up dash and a diagonal dash. You can also maybe stand a little bit further, then do like a forward jump. The benefit of that one is that here, if you do this method, you really have to be perfect. Okay, yeah, you have to be perfect with your inputs. Like you don't want to get as much height as you can with your jump and all that. If you do this method, where you're like kind of jumping towards this kind of wall of spikes here, there's a risk that, you know, you'll do this or you'll, yeah, just jump right into it. However, it definitely makes the, this part right here a little less tight. Like you'll usually grab higher on the wall. So it depends what you prefer. I prefer to do this. Okay, checkpoint 14. This one is really hard. It's probably one of the first really notorious checkpoints in this Golden. So do 2 diagonal dashes, and here you're going to want to conserve as much stamina as you can. So just get to the middle of the wall here, dash up. Middle of the wall here, dash up. Then here you're going to want to grab that wall as high as you can. So let me do that. And you can wall jump, or you can just grab them for like a second. Okay, so here you're going to want to get to this middle of it right here. Then you're going to just do 2 neutral jumps, and this should give you like maybe a little bit of extra stamina than you would otherwise have, or like height. And then yeah, so like get to this middle point here, jump, jump, go. So once you're done with that checkpoint, you get another pretty tricky checkpoint. Great. So you're gonna get, there's 2 ways to do this section. You can do like that. So each one has their pro and cons. So for this one, it's a little bit more tight to get through this this wall if you just jump and do a diagonal dash. However, you have a dash you can use to get to the spring more consistently. If you do it like this, it's a bit more consistent to get over the wall, a little bit easier, but then you have to maneuver yourself to the wall with the spring. So it really just depends what you prefer. This section's not too bad. Your diagonal dash left to get back to the spring. And now you have this section, which is extremely difficult, just because you need to get through this tiny hole above me. So what I do is I use the background. So you can see right below me, there's like kind of this, in the background, there's like this stone kind of bridge. And within it, there's like these little holes, right? There's one like just to the left of my feet. That's the one you're going to want to line up against, because it's actually right below where you want to dash up from. So I'm going to try and, yeah, this is the spot we're going to go from. So you see there's like a hole in the wall, a little tiny hole in the wall where you want to be dashing from. Definitely use the background when you can for this kind of things. It's much easier than like trying to look above you and line up in that way. So yeah, you definitely want to be careful with your height too, because you can if you wait too long to dash, you just won't make it. But oh, let me just do it now. Okay. Like that. Okay, this checkpoint is a little bit easier. Here you want to do up and then diagonal. You can do diagonal up, but I find that a bit more scary. Chapter 11 tends to have a bad reputation. I don't really understand why it's known to be that bad. Maybe it's because of people using the joystick. I can understand in that case. But as long as you get comfortable with the dashes and you don't move too much, like you really want to go through this with only your dashes. You don't want to be like dashing and then moving a lot. You just want to dash, 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 dash. For me, this next checkpoint is a lot harder. Okay, oh, that was bad. So this maneuver to get to this spring is a little bit tricky. If you don't get to the top of that spring, just go back to it and just try to get to the top of it. Here, you don't want to climb to the very top. You want to stay like near the middle, maybe, right here. And then you're gonna dash. You're gonna jump left as much as you can, and time a dash to get through the spike walls like this. That was a bit tight. Let me see if I can just do that again. So like this. Yeah. This one is very, very stressful. I feel like the most common way to die here is just at the first spike wall here. Just 'cause you have to jump pretty precisely. Yeah. And that's another spot you can die pretty often. So I think the trick to this one is to only maneuver with your dashes once you're here. So like for the first two sections I had to maneuver a little bit, right? But once you're here, you don't want to move left at all. You just want to dash left and then dash up. Do that one a lot because it's very late. You want it to be somewhere close to muscle memory. For a lot of people, once they get here, they consider it to be like only easy rooms from here. For me, because I suck with the feather, I'm still kind of stressed out at this point. For this room, you can do it like this, like just doing downward dashes back to the wall. I prefer to just do an up dash and just kind of position myself like this. But I don't think it's super important which one you do. Whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Like even though this seems easy, at this point in the level it's so far and you're so stressed out that you really want to be comfortable with each one of these, even if they seem easy. Okay. I just kind of use the spring in the cloud. Okay, this is the last section. So make sure you get near the top. It can be a bit scary. The next checkpoint is kind of hard. You want to dash up, diagonal, up, right. This jump is scary. You barely have enough height. You don't want to use both dashes here. You want to be have one dash left. But definitely practice this jump from the block below me. Let me just show it again. Yeah, you're gonna barely make it to it most of the time. And just jump, do a diagonal dash, get to the spring, and then just do the feather. I hate feathers, so for me that's one of the most stressful parts. But not as stressful as this checkpoint. So for me, this is the last really hard checkpoint. You're gonna get to this wall. Dash right from here, then just dash left onto the next feather. Get to this wall, and then you're gonna dash left and diagonally. That was close. Okay, here, calm down. This is the last difficult checkpoint. So just kind of relax, take maybe like a minute break, and just try to remember exactly what dashes you need to do. Like, you really want to memorize this one. It's not too bad, but some of the sections are just a little bit tight. Like, you really need to get as much as you can from each of your jumps and your dashes. So diagonal, up, up. That's not too bad. Okay, so for that spring right there, you want to get near the top of the spring, just because that jump is very very tight. So maybe you grab the above it and then just slide down to it. And yeah, just like that. Once you're here, the only thing you have to watch out for is your stamina and not jumping too high. And welcome to checkpoint 1. So you shouldn't die here, but just in case, I would recommend you try to do this one very deliberately, very slowly, because they've seen people just become absolute wrecks here because of the anxiety. So just remember the steps. You want to use 2 dashes to get to here. Here, only use 1 dash. Jump, diagonal dash, and use your other one to do that. To get to this wall right here. Then 1 diagonal dash here. 2 there. Then use 2 diagonal dashes to get to these stones right there. Okay. Get to, I wonder. Yeah, so you can't get hurt from these spikes, so don't be scared. But you don't need to get to the top. Just jump diagonal onto the snow right here. It's safe. There's no spikes here, so don't worry. Get to this ledge right here. Jump, diagonal dash. Then once you're here, you have basically 1 more jump to do. So just jump, diagonal dash, diagonal dash. You can do it in 1 diagonal dash, but just to be safe, use 2. And then, yeah. And welcome to the end. This one took me a long time to do, honestly. Probably took me a week of practice. But eventually you should get it. Well, good luck.